It was a disastrous session for TLR. It's June 19th, 2025, and these are your headlines. Texans for Lawsuit Reform, the once powerful tort reform group that has long played a major role in state politics, is undergoing internal leadership changes after a legislative session widely seen as a failure for the organization's agenda. In a press release issued today, TLR announced the retirement of longtime co-founder and leader Dick Trabulsi, who had served as one of the key architects of the organization's decades-long existence. Trabulsi's departure comes alongside other notable shifts. Ryan DeMace, who previously served as chief of staff to TLR co-founder and chairman Dick Weekley, has been promoted to vice president of operations. Meanwhile, board members Joe Popolo and Alan Hassenfluh are stepping down. Now, the internal shakeup follows a bruising year for TLR's reputation politically and legislatively. During the recent legislative session, the group backed several controversial proposals, most of which failed to make it to the governor's desk. Among them was a bill aimed at restricting the amount of damages victims can receive in lawsuits involving commercial trucking accidents. The proposal drew fierce opposition from citizen advocates, trial lawyers, and even some lawmakers who saw it as an attack on the rights of Texans injured or killed due to corporate negligence. Another TLR-backed effort sought to weaken the state's anti-SLAPP law, which protects individuals from strategic lawsuits against public participation, lawsuits intended to intimidate or silence critics by burdening them with exorbitant legal expenses. The proposed changes alarmed First Amendment advocates and media organizations who argued it would chill free speech. Beyond its legislative agenda, TLR also found itself in the crosshairs for its behind-the-scenes role in the failed impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton. With the departure of longtime leaders and rising internal questions about strategy, the future direction of TLR is now uncertain. Whether the organization will recalibrate its political approach or continue to push the same priorities remains to be seen. Senator Kelly Hancock has officially entered the race for Texas Comptroller with the backing of Governor Greg Abbott, resigning from the Senate and being sworn in as chief clerk of the agency today by outgoing Comptroller Glenn Hager. The move is designed to sidestep a 2002 legal opinion from then Attorney General Greg Abbott, which held that a sitting state senator cannot be appointed to a position requiring Senate confirmation during the term for which they were elected. By resigning and taking on the role of chief clerk, Hancock avoids triggering the Senate confirmation process while still stepping into the agency's top position for the remainder of Hager's term throughout January of 2027. Hager, who will officially take over as chancellor of the Texas A&M University system on July 1st, praised Hancock as his successor. Governor Abbott quickly endorsed Hancock, citing his experience, commitment to school choice, and his ability to win a general election. Former State Senator Don Huffines and current Railroad Commissioner Christy Craddock are already announced candidates in the race. In 2023, Hancock was one of only two Republican senators who sided with Democrats to attempt to remove Attorney General Ken Paxton from office following his impeachment trial. During the last legislative session, he was one of 7 Republican senators who voted to water down Senate Bill 19, intended to ban taxpayer-funded lobbying, by supporting an amendment that exempted organizations like the Texas Association of School Boards from the ban. Additionally, Hancock's planned tenure as chief clerk raises some constitutional questions. Some observers have pointed to the Texas Constitution, which prohibits legislators from holding other civil offices or being employed by the state during their elected term. Even though Hancock has resigned, his replacement will not be sworn in until after a special election is held, meaning he may technically remain under the Constitution's holdover clause in the meantime. The Republican primary for Comptroller will take place next March. A special election will soon be called by Governor Abbott for Hancock's Senate seat.
Real Texan.
I hope you'll sit down with Texas Scorecard every Sunday as we visit with real Texans who are doing real things to make the Lone Star State shine even brighter. We're going to be talking to activists and politicians, but we're also going to be talking with men and women who are shaping business in Texas and driving for a better culture.
Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George has switched from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party amid legal scrutiny and felony charges, prompting some to wonder whether the move is motivated by mere political expedience. George officially announced his departure from the Democrat Party yesterday. declaring his new affiliation as a Republican. The announcement comes as George faces multiple legal challenges, the first involving a misdemeanor charge for misrepresentation of identity. In April, George's former chief of staff pleaded guilty for his role in a social media hoax, and as part of his plea deal, he received 2 years of deferred adjudication probation and agreed to write apologies to those he wronged, cease contact with the elected officials involved, complete 200 hours of community service, and cooperate in future legal proceedings, potentially by testifying against KP George. In addition to the misdemeanor charge, George is also facing 2 third-degree felony counts of money laundering. Currently, Georgia Switch has changed the political advantage in the Fort Bend County Commissioner's Court to a 3-2 Republican majority. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.